Hey everyone, Luke here. And in preparation for this week's video, I came across some insight that really changed the way I look at my art career, really changed the way I look at my art in general, and it's really beneficial. And I'd like to share that with you as well as this pet portrait painting. So let's jump in and hopefully you'll get some new insight on your art and your art career. So it's the start of a new year, and with the new year, there's almost this universal obligation or internal instinct to look back through the past year, acknowledge what you did well, correct what you didn't do so well, and set goals for the new year. And with the cliche of the New Year's resolution aside, I truly believe this is a really important step for business owners, students, or anything you're striving to be better at. Now, in setting these goals, you have a clear mind or path on your next steps. You start applying the efforts, skills, and training needed to achieve set goals, and maybe you start seeing growth after your first few attempts. But for some, you don't see growth, and others shortly after that initial success, the progress comes to a halt. You wonder why. You're doing all you can to tackle this goal in mind, to have little to no success, or maybe just marginal success. And as such, you start to become deterred because you're not seeing a return on investment. Your hours in the classroom are not transferring into a better technique. The previous paintings you did are far more successful than this more recent one, or your newly executed business plan is not bringing in new customers, and you're just ready to jump ship. So what's wrong with all this? Well, you see, back when you originally wrote those goals, you subconsciously subscribed to the idea of linear growth without even knowing it. You assumed by simply putting your plan in action, you would see a constant stream of growth from the day you implemented it. Now, I'm sure you were somewhat realistic and expected there to be some bumps in the road, but perhaps you're not even able to replicate the past of success at this very moment. And it's this idea of linear growth that is demotivating you and causing you to second guess your plan of action or goal entirely. You see, linear growth is this idea that whatever it is, it will continuously grow, continue to get bigger and better. This may be true for some things like some safe stocks that you invest in, but for art and most others, it is simply not true and doesn't apply. And this is exactly the realization I stumbled upon this past week. It's that not everything I do from this point on will be better, greater, or more successful. And it's really hard to accept that. Us as artists push ourselves to dig deeper, think bigger, and get better with every painting, drawing, song, or sculpture. And for someone to say to you, hey, guess what? That next thing you do probably won't be any better, can be extremely demotivating. And maybe worse. Maybe you look back at your last 5 paintings that you've done, and they are far less successful than ones you did months prior. You see, this is the high expectation of constant linear growth that's plaguing our minds and stunting our growth, and is a huge demotivator. But I'm here to tell you that even though the next thing you do might not be better, it could be. You see, anytime you sit down and put your plan in motion, you are putting it into the universe. And in doing so, you are rolling the dice of success. The more you sit down and practice, the more rolls of the dice you get. The more years of training, the even more dice you get to roll. The more you allow yourself some grace, the freedom to fail and learn, the more opportunities down the road that will be opened for you. Although growth is far from linear, it doesn't mean you are not taking the steps in the right direction. You see, success is a wave, and it's about wrestling the tide and testing the waters to see what worked and what didn't. In testing the waters, you can truly see organically what generated growth, and perhaps what ultimately was maybe a bad plan of action. You can wrestle your way through and figure out what was working and what's not. So I'll give you this. Instead of looking to see if your new post has more likes than your last, instead of seeing if this new painting is better than your last, and before you hop on that scale and question yourself, why hasn't the scale moved? Think to yourself, are you closer to your goal tonight than you were this morning? If every day you can confidently ask and truthfully answer that question, are you closer to your goal tonight than you were this morning? You're on the right track. Going to bed one step closer towards your goal is sometimes all that's needed to get the opportunity to roll the dice of success tomorrow. And don't get me wrong, it's important to measure these things like sales, views, shares, strength, and growth. But simply allow yourself to stumble, to fail, and in doing so, you will give yourself the opportunity to grow organically. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, as well as a little bell notification to get notified as soon as I drop a new video. And I'm curious, what are all your goals for 2022? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what all your goals are for the new year. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Take care.